4 years ago, on a quiet afternoon in Southern California, I was playing video games during spring break when I suddenly heard a loud commotion outside. When I went to the front door, I saw police officers pointing assault rifles at me and my father, who was on the floor with his hands in the air. I watched him get treated as less than human, and at the age of 16, dealt with the aftermath of taking care of my younger brother and talking to the police. When the social worker came for the welfare check afterwards, she told me something that I would never forget. Most kids with your circumstances don't make it. Many of the places I grew up in were unsafe. My high school was on national television for what was deemed a racially motivated riot. Some teammates on my high school's basketball team called me slurs. I received death threats and was assaulted at school. At home or at school, I was stuck between two places I didn't feel safe at. At the same time, I had ambitions to go to a good college. Without much guidance, I recognized that education was one way out. As a first-generation, low-income student at an economically stratified high school, I had to navigate the education system largely on my own. I remember asking my high school principal about a summer program that I missed out on, and she told me, "Your parents received an email about it, so you should have already known." You should have already known. My principal assumed that I had the resources and the support that other students had. I fought tooth and nail to succeed and find opportunities at school, watching my more well-off peers get through school with armies of support while I felt like one person fighting the ocean. But I survived and turned my obstacles into stepping stones. I got involved at my local city hall so that I can learn how we could better society for the underprivileged. I interned for my congressman so that I could connect with my local community. Now in college, I've done work around diversity and inclusion after experiencing exclusion throughout much of my life. I tell you all this story not to tell you a story of perseverance, individualism, or to show off. The story I share with you today is incomplete without mentioning the countless people who chose to invest in, care for, and support my dreams. Although I worked hard to get to the place where I'm at today at a college like Claremont McKenna College, I most certainly did not do it alone. My high school English teacher, who saw potential in me and helped me develop a club at school, was an integral part of developing my leadership and academic curiosity. She chose to spend many hours with me after school discussing readings, politics, and my vision for leadership on campus. Or my orchestra director, who constantly encouraged my personal growth, watching me go from a young freshman in high school to a leader of an entire section in the orchestra, and instilled in his students the work ethic that I still hold today. I had two advisors who were college students themselves, whom I met through a program for first-generation low-income students. These people helped me realize my potential and walked me through the application process that I otherwise didn't have much support in. They volunteered hours of their time to help me, and it ultimately made a huge impact on my life. Even some of my closest friends who supported and helped develop my growth, joining me when I volunteered at the local homeless shelter, giving me occasional rides to school events, or helping me find out about programs like Questbridge that I wouldn't have known about otherwise. These people, in their own way, helped lay down the path to my success. They all contributed a bit to my story, helping me succeed despite the hand I was dealt. All this to say, if there's one thing that my story shows, it's that young people might not be able to make it, despite their full potential because of their life circumstances. Instead of slipping through the cracks, we can fill the cracks with stepping stones for the underprivileged with investment, care, and mentorship. Whether you're a current student, in the workforce, or have a role somewhere where you might not see disadvantaged people making it, you can be a part of changing someone's life. Whether it's long-term mentorship or just a few minutes where you spread your knowledge, invest in someone whose circumstances are hampering their potential. On your own, you can't change the wealth disparity, systemic racism, or education inequality. These are things that we solve as a community and as a nation. but you can change one person's trajectory. Although I worked hard and had ambition as a student, I didn't do it alone. I had people who chose to invest in me, and that meant the world to me. The social worker, in many ways, was right. Most kids in the circumstances that I was in might have not made it to a school like CMC, or have the opportunities that I'm afforded today. I am a statistical anomaly, but with the investment of mentors, friends, and family, I got to a place where I can thrive. But I shouldn't be a statistical anomaly. Everyone knows something useful, and most certainly everyone in this room knows something useful. Somewhere out there, in your hometown, or in your local community, there's a kid whose life is stopping them from reaching their full potential. Be a stepping stone for them, and you could change the trajectory of their life. Thank you.